Mind Flush session with my buddy Haig. I'm Tony. We just made it through the holidays.
Made it through.
Made it through the holidays. It is early January now, first week of January. Continuing our Mind Flush, and I need it as well as everybody else does. So I wanted to talk about some of the tools that we mentioned early on about which we could use. You know, like the daily universal miracles. That's cool.
Yeah, no, I think that should be. I like that this is the first tool.
Yeah.
This is like the tool.
Right.
It's a hard one to incorporate at first. Definitely, you have to get used to it. Almost like I like to put reminders in my phone that like go off every few hours. Like, hey, remember Daily Miracle, or hey, don't forget to like be nice.
Yeah, right.
Things like that. Just because you get so caught up. But this is an important tool. This is an important tool because no matter what goes on, it lends perspective.
Yeah.
Instead of forces perspective.
Yeah. Well, I think what you said is true, though. We need the mind flush every day. Like we talked about, Zig saying, oh, yeah, motivation, people say motivation doesn't work, but it's like a bath, That doesn't last either. That's why I recommend it every day. So we're bathing our minds and flushing our minds out, and we all need to do it. We get bombarded with our families, our friends, our society, and everything else that we're dealing with, our work, our play, everything is getting attached to us. And I just thought of something, too. I heard somebody talk about this earlier, that we get labeled so early on in our lives. We start with a label, right?
Okay.
Our names.
Literally. Label.
So somebody that we didn't choose our name, puts a name on us, so that it begins from that point that we're labeled beginning. So that's interesting. So we're conditioned to take these things on that people are giving us, which are not always bad. I mean, the name's a name. It doesn't really matter what your name is. You make it what it is. But we are conditioned to accept these things. That's why, we were talking earlier about certain things in family dynamic.
Wow.
You don't push those away because you feel like, well, that's the way it's supposed to be,
We're conditioned to accept what people have to say about us.
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
That's crazy.
It's true. It's that's most of our stresses come from. I mean, every day, and everybody deals with it. School, work, play, wherever. It's always people are putting stuff on you. They're expecting things from you, and
it's like we grow up learning only to reach a certain point once we're an adult to realize we have to relearn everything.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you do. Sometimes you don't.
We have to let go of so many of those things, right?
Hey, that's why I admire you. Like I said before, you're a young guy and you're willing to flush the mind out now and avoiding 25, 30 years of stuff that I have to flush out. So.
Well, flushing the mind every day. I don't see this becoming any less important as the years go on.
Right.
Yeah. This is not really. I think that's why I like it so much. It's not really something that you do once and it fixes all the problems. Very much like a daily miracle or like bathing. It's not something you do once and it fixes. It's more learning a habit to say, hey, it's okay to flush my mind. And not only okay, I need to flush my mind.
Yeah.
And look at those problems, because it's so interesting, because you like motivation. You have motivation, you feel really good, you go after it, and maybe you tire out. Maybe someone says the wrong thing to you. Maybe you say the wrong thing to yourself.
That's true.
And then you just like fall apart and you have a meltdown, and some of us cry, some of us get angry, some of us give up, some of us sleep. There's so many reactions that just say, hey, now you're labeled as a depressed person, now you're labeled as stressed person, now you're labeled as this. And I wonder, it's in that transition from motivation to falling, that's where the daily miracle needs to be in.
Yes.
Like you don't necessarily need to, always be obsessed with what the daily miracle is, but know how important it is and know when to use it, because it is a tool.
It is a tool. I mean, and what's happening is that's the most real thing when we talk about it. We'll go through a couple things. We'll name our favorites. Mm-hmm. But when you think of these amazing astronomical things that are so beyond our imagination that's happening, then you go, wow, there's amazing stuff happening that I have nothing to do with. So what I'm doing is cool, but it's not changing like the dynamic of what's really happening in the world. So it puts everything in perspective. That's what I think is important. To keep bringing it down, back into perspective. So let's talk about a few of those. So let's see. I wrote them down. Just because there's so many. There's just a few. It's
infinite.
It's infinite if you really look.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just watching this thing on Netflix the other night about the world and these amazing places. Like, oh my God, it just never ends. I mean, there's so many species under the water, so many things, and toads, and this, and birds, and butterflies. We have no clue what's going on. It's incredible. So let's not take credit for it. And I have to correct myself too. I found out, remember I told you 1,100 liters of oxygen going through our bodies a day?
Mm-hmm.
It's not correct.
What is it?
Not 1,100, 11,000 liters of oxygen that are going through our body. Yes, 11,000 average. So how often are you thinking of that? Never.
Just go down the grocery aisle. I encourage you to go to the grocery aisle. Go down the soda section.
Yeah.
All those liters.
Yeah.
That's like still a fraction of what's being pumped through your body.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. That's a good way, a good visual. It's a good visual to think about. But that's what I mean. There's such immensity to what's happening, even in our own little bodies, that we don't know how to even deal with. Don't get concerned with such other little petty stuff, little who's better than this, who's better than that. So that is a big one. So that's a new one for me. 11,000 liters of oxygen going through the body of air.
Wow.
It's beyond comprehension. And we never think of it.
Well, see, that's a good one, if I'm going to break these daily miracles down, to think about that, for me, it's very much in the sense, if I'm feeling powerless, if I'm feeling worthless or unimportant, or feel like that, not even unimportant, I think powerless or unable to succeed or to do something, that's the kind of thing you stop, you sit down, you think about as a daily miracle, how can I be powerless if my body, without me even consciously thinking, is succeeding in an absolute feat of mankind?
It's an incredible magic.
And you think about that for at least, put a timer on for a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Just think about the fact that much blood and oxygen is being pumped through your body.
Yeah.
And it's inevitable to feel slightly better after 2 minutes.
Yeah. I think when you think you're amazing and realizing also what it does is we all do it.
Yeah.
And who told you to do it?
No one. It just happens.
Who told me to do it? Nobody. There's something going on here, folks. There's a conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy.
Somebody's controlling. Yes, there is. It's called the source, the universal energy source that controls everything and controls also what we're about to name now. So let's start with one. The sun, most obvious thing. The sun, right? Up and down. The sun's been burning for hundreds of millions of years. Okay, that's not a mind warp. Nothing is. It's at the perfect distance and the perfect temperature to keep life existing on just our planet, right? Look at all these other things here that are just not happening. We just happen to be in the right spot at the right
Goldilocks
time.
position, they call that.
Yeah, we're in the right spot. So the sun, we're grateful for the sun. We appreciate it in LA when it doesn't there's not sun for 2 days. We get crazy.
Oh yeah.
And the sun comes out. Thank God the sun's out.
But,
we bow down to the sun because it was gone for a day, but we don't appreciate it till it's gone.
Yeah.
But think about the sun is just nobody sees it. It's right there, and the rays it's so far away. The distance is so far away.
How intense that's happening at all times.
Yes, and it's regenerating itself. You watch all these specials on Netflix about the sun and how the atoms and the things are regenerating, and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Hundreds of millions of years. Hello. So that's a good one to start with. That's something we all see every day in our lives. We see it, and we're actually living because of it. Nothing would exist without it. I mean, to me, the sun. That's why people in the old, centuries ago, would honor and bow to be a god, sun god.
What's great about this kind of existential or larger example of true life is the idea that if you break down a lot of stress and anxiety or worry or negative emotions, it's always because we assume no matter what, there's always going to be someone better, someone more in charge, someone determining what is good and what is bad.
Right.
But if you go down that list, you can go all the way to every single person on the face of this planet that's ever lived. Not a single one of them, not a single group of them, not all of them together can come close to the fact that sun's still the sun.
Yes.
Nothing they're going to say is going to make you less important or more important to the idea that the sun is there.
Right.
And that's the peace at mind with that.
And none of us can live without it.
Yeah.
Are you better than me? Then live without the sun.
That's the thing. It's look at that.
We're all living with the same source of energy, but we think we're better. But we're all the same.
Yeah.
We can't live without water and air and oxygen. It's funny. So it's a good, nice, humbling experience, but also the awe of it to me is wow. Why do we take advantage of it? It's because it's there every day. It's like everything else. People in our lives that are there every day, unfortunately, we take advantage of sometimes. We don't appreciate them because we see them every day.
Yeah.
We do this every day. I put a little tattoo on my hand a lot of the days. Just I draw it in, and remember you mentioned, once you get it done. Well, if I do that,
I'll forget to draw it in.
yeah, and I won't be conscious of it because it's another thing. It's a piece of furniture. So it's important to go. The sun is the easiest for me because it's there, man. Everywhere I've been, all over the world, traveled and performed all over the world.
It's always there.
You've been all over the world. You look up, same sun.
And there's nothing you can do or anyone can do to get rid of it.
No, you can't change it, can't alter it. People say, well, climate control, this and that, blah, blah.
Yeah, but that's the Earth.
Yeah. That's
The sun's not doing it.
The sun's just doing its thing.
Like, you can't do anything with it.
Can't talk to it.
And if you tried to even if you got too close to it, you're going to melt.
It doesn't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
It's like, get away from me. What a wonderful repellent. It's like, don't come next to me, I'm going to melt you down.
Yeah.
You have nothing good to say, nothing good to do, I'm going to melt you.
I don't need anything from you.
Pulverize you. Can't even get pulverized. I don't even melt you, just explode. Like a little puff pal. Like,
Yeah. Wouldn't even notice.
won't even notice. So the sun, to me, is a great universal daily miracle to think about. If you need something to get you out of the funk of the daily whatever. It's like, wow, just look at the sun, and it feels good. And we need the vitamins.
It literally fuels our body.
Yeah.
It fuels everything.
We need it. And it creates photosynthesis with the plant. It's just really the source of all energy and fuel. So the sun was the first one.
Also, I encourage you to think about it, not look at it.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Nobody look at the sun. I just saved your eyesight.
Yeah.
You go blind. You go blind, literally. And you can watch it through certain lenses, but don't do it. But you can see at sunset. You can see that from a distance. That's always nice. That's why the sunset is nice, because you actually look at it. It's not so intense,
For a minute there.
Yeah. But the sun is there always for us to admire and be in awe of and appreciate it. And it sounds cheesy, but it's really not. It's really life, man. I mean, it's like I hate people say, "Oh, it's like cheesy. That's a Hallmark card." It's like, no, it's not a Hallmark card. It's life, dude.
That's real.
Let's take the sun out.
Well, even if you're not consciously appreciating it, your body's absorbing it. Your body's using it.
Right.
Your body's naturally appreciating
And you don't even know what it's doing.
Yeah.
Right. You don't even know what it's doing. Right now, it's fueling the earth and the world, and nobody knows what's going on. So, the sun is my number one daily universal miracle, and I call it universal because I'm talking about everything in the world, and we'll talk about our own miracles too. But and then let's go. Oh, part of the sun too, I think, is another component of it is the ozone layer. To me, it's the sidekick of the sun.
The sidekick.
Because without the ozone layer, we'd be burned alive. But did you put the ozone layer there? Did you do it?
That wasn't me off the
You didn't do it? I thought you did it. I thought you were an ozone kind of guy. You didn't do that.
No, it wasn't me.
I didn't do it. I wonder who put that ozone layer there.
Yeah.
Somebody put the ozone layer. Isn't that weird? It's like perfectly, everything is just perfect. That ozone layer is there to protect us.
Like the science of all this true life.
Perfection.
It's
perfection. And it's not fleeting. It doesn't get upset. It doesn't change.
It doesn't leave you.
It doesn't leave you. It's constant, there for millions of years,
Yeah.
I mentioned that to somebody religiously. Oh, Genesis 1 or something. It talks about the creation of the earth. I'm like, okay, I get it. But let's talk about the dinosaurs, shall we? So anyway, that's a whole other story.
Well, even in that, even if you look at your religion, even the beginning of the creation, everything, if it's 10,000 years, 2,000 years, one day,
right?
It's all still there. No matter what you like. Yeah. So even if it's just for one day, even if you believe that just for one day it's been there, that's all constant.
Yeah.
And is immovable by you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Insanely perfect. I mean, and look at all the other planets. They'd love to have our. Come on. They love to have what we have going on. Everybody here. Yeah, Mercury, everybody, Saturn, whatever. They all love to have it, but they don't. So we're very lucky on this Earth. Let's enjoy the damn ride.
Yeah.
Good. So the ozone layer, and then here's another one that I loved. This you could look at, and I love it at night when it's bright. And I texted you the other night. There was the North Star and the Moon was side by side, and it's rare. You said it doesn't happen all the time. Polaris, I think it's the star, right? Polaris and the Moon. The Moon. It's not just. It's not a picture. I mean, it looks like a photo. That night looked like a painting. But the moon, people don't even look at the damn moon.
The moon is quite literally my favorite thing.
Oh, you like the moon? Okay.
The moon is my favorite thing. And just the other night, one of my favorite things to do now is I'll go outside at night and I'll look at it and I'll look at it long enough to wrap my mind around that it's not a flat, like you said, a picture.
Right.
I have to look at it. I force myself. It's almost like a meditation. I look at it long enough until I'm able to almost feel the curves, to realize that there's literally an entire ball just floating
in the middle of the air.
But what's beautiful, because it controls all the oceans, which control the climate, which control, our Earth. More importantly, we have to realize if it has that gravitational pull that's so affecting on the most powerful thing on our planet, the ocean.
Yes.
We're, 70% water ourselves? If the moon is gravitating us, you don't think that's pulling on us if we feel more emotional, if we feel heavier, if we feel lighter? Look up at that tiny, to us, tiny little ball floating around. It's literally changing who we are on a daily basis. It's like crazy. How we feel. That are moving the liquid inside of us.
Did you tell it to do that?
No, it's just,
It just happened by itself?
It just happens.
The moon is doing it for us?
You can't change that.
I mean, it's overwhelming because it's people don't think about it. It's like the oceans don't just have a tide on their own.
Yeah.
This is all calculated and happening at in perfect harmony of itself. Mm-hmm. And I think women are very connected because their menstrual cycles and their bodies are very connected to the moon. That's why I think, we talked about this before. I think women are stronger than men. Personally, I think they have strong, they give birth, they put us on Earth, right? They carry a life in their bodies. But that's why they were given that job. They're connected more to the moon. And people think, oh, that's what they call it when you're into the moon and the stars and all that stuff. Oh, that's like, whatever.
Well, the moon, you can't argue because it is the closest gravitational pull.
Yeah.
And if we are made up of that much liquid, and we're watching what the moon is doing to vast oceans, and to think that our tiny bodies aren't being manipulated by that,
of course.
So when you're feeling different, the moon is close and far and changing, of course it has an effect on us. We are that in tune with literally a bigger event. How can we think what this tiny thing we're gonna take a pill to feel better, or we're gonna distract ourselves or do something? It's find positive ways, like daily, or actions to make yourself feel better. But at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do to stop that from changing how your body's moving and feeling.
That's amazing. I mean, nobody thinks about it. I mean, I'm not gonna say nobody. I say it's my son. Dad, some people do it. I'm like, son, you're correct.
A lot of
people. Very smart. He's very smart. Not enough.
Not enough. That's why we have the daily miracles. I mean, you can pay attention to it.
Right. I think that it's the moon is so fascinating. I love going to the Griffith Park Observatory, and they have a beautiful shows in the globe thing, what they call it, the dome. It just tears come out of my eyes. It's just it's just overwhelming. I mean, you can't even comprehend what's going on. And it's why do we have this? Be grateful. That's why I say, when I talk to people, I say, just be grateful for it. You don't have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Just say, you know what? How lucky are we that we have that happening in perfect harmony? Every day we should be grateful because it's happening every single moment. Right now, there's an effect happening from the moon, the sun, balance with the ozone layer. Right now, that's happening right now, constantly. Yeah. So you are creating a constant gratitude. And when you're in gratitude, you could be in a much joyful state, I think, much more joyful state.
Absolutely. Well, because, you can't wrap your mind around it. You can't comprehend it. Yeah. And we can study it, and we can learn all the scientific facts we want.
Right, which is fun.
But on a daily basis, you can't comprehend it. You have two choices. Either let it make you feel tiny and fall apart, or appreciate how this entire mass, this huge thing, is literally there so you could live.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Say thank you. Be grateful.
Yeah.
It's here for us without our doing of any kind.
Yeah, I mean,
if we were in charge of it, it'd be oh man, I'm punching in for the moon shift tonight. I gotta work the moon. Are you?
I gotta work the moon tonight.
Yeah, don't text and work the moon. Make sure the tides are right. Oh, we'd mess it up. It'd be a mess.
Have you ever seen the movie Bruce Almighty with when he pulls the moon?
Yes.
He has the powers of God, and he pulls the moon
that's a great scene.
And then just on the news, it's tsunamis everywhere.
Yes. That's a great one. That's great.
I love that.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, that's what would have happened if we had control over this stuff.
Yeah. The first thing we do is make our lives better, and then destroy everything.
Yeah. It's I don't want the responsibility of it.
Well, isn't that great? We don't have to take on that responsibility.
I know.
No matter how much we think we need to take on, we never have to take that on.
That is very. Isn't that meditative in itself?
Yeah. I love the moon.
We just float around literally on this beautiful, perfectly round rock filled with water. How much percentage of water?
I think it's 70-75%.
And our bodies are how much?
I think it's the same thing. 70.
Not a coincidence.
No, not at all. I mean, it's the exact same ratio needed to survive with the moon gravitating.
So weird. It's amazing.
Orbiting.
It's incredible. So it's like, come on, man, just think about that every day. Just pick one of these things. It's just you cannot not be amazed.
Well, I think the other thing too is like with daily miracles, it's not something that you need to sit there and meditate and like bring yourself to like this is profound.
Right.
Like just think about that.
Yeah.
Just look up at the moon. Think about the sun, and just think about what's happening without convincing yourself it's important or not.
Right.
And I guarantee you, if you just think about it, within a few minutes, it'll become profound.
Yeah. It's interesting. I know I tried this one time with my son's basketball team. We practiced outside at night at a school. And one night, it was a supermoon. It was just amazing. And we're outside, and it looked like the light was coming from the moon. So it was brighter. And I'm looking and going, oh my God. I said, hey, everybody guys, gather around. Eight boys. This was last year. And I said, look at that moon, everybody. And they're like, no, come on, look. They don't care. They don't get it, right? But I'm trying. What am I doing? I'm an idiot, right? I'm trying to get these kids to like appreciate this incredible thing. I said, look at that moon. I said, if you were on the moon, the way that's floating and the way that's looking with nothing around it, we look the same. So we're basically in the same type of little sphere, maybe different size, but it's basically a sphere of the same type, floating in the same type orbit as that. And by the time I finished, I looked around, they were all gone. They didn't pay attention. I failed at that one. But anyway, I tried my best to kind of get them. Maybe it clicks for a second, but it is so overwhelming that I think, and people can't just wrap their brain about it. But as adults, I think they should be able to handle it. I think adults should be able to handle it.
Well, it's like the overwhelming concept is, I think that comes from, feeling all the emotions that come from maybe feeling small or it's too much to comprehend. Like, that's why we said, like, don't try to understand it. Just look at it and think about it as deeply as you want to or as simply as you want to, but you'll find appreciation in it.
Yeah. I mean, like you told me to go watch the black hole thing, right? On Netflix, and I watched it.
How great was that? Whew. Blow your mind.
Another thing, like, what is happening? But the cool thing about it was they tried their best to understand it.
Yeah.
But at the end, they kind of even said,
once again, we don't know what's in the black hole.
We don't know for sure. We don't know. And there's the smartest people in the world. Like, we really don't know.
But they were excited about it.
Yeah.
And that's...
I think it's great. I think just to know and realize there's so much more than we know. Ignorance is wonderful, because not being stupid, but ignorant is going, wow. That means there's so much I don't know. That's how amazing it is. When you start thinking you know everything, people like that, right? They think they know everything. Are they pleasant to be around? No.
Well, ignorance is kind of a fine line, because ignorance, I feel like, would imply that you're not excited about the unknown because ignorance means that you don't know this unknown. You're ignorant to the fact. I think the ability to know that you'll never know everything.
Right.
Is
accepting that
is
you'll never
the
know.
Greatest freedom.
It is. And it puts us all on the same plane.
Yeah.
Because the things that are so important that we're talking about now, we can't change. We can't really explain. We can't alter. It's a lovely thing.
Yeah.
It's a lovely thing. So when somebody thinks they're better for you than you, or this and that, and it's like, okay, you're breathing the same air I'm breathing. That's all I know.
Yeah, still the same sun, same
moon.
Without it, we'd both be gone. So
that's right, baby. It's a good neutralizer. It's really good. So
starting to realize why they worship the damn thing.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, imagine when there was nothing else but
for sure.
The sky was their entertainment. I mean, not entertainment.
Can you imagine having absolutely no knowledge of science or no knowledge of anything, and just being brought into this world, and then you all you know is what you've seen, and every time you look up into the sky, the one place you can't go, there's a giant warm ball.
Yeah. Yep. And they see it go down, and they freak. Oh, it's back! Thank God.
Yeah.
Every day you're grateful that it came back. Back then, they probably thought it went out. I mean, they before they realized, the rotation.
Yeah, it's incredible.
They didn't know. I mean, imagine that. Oh my God. And they bowed to it, and they should.
Yeah.
We should all bow to it in our own way. You don't have to get down on your knees, but if you want to, do it. But to me, it's like, God, I'm thankful for that, man. I'm so grateful for that. So, the sun is a beautiful thing. The earth, the ozone layer, and I'll do one more, and then you could throw one in whenever you want.
The moon is my biggest one. That's why you said it, and I was like, I got excited.
Yeah.
Because I find myself needing the daily miracles at nighttime the most.
Oh, good.
Because I wake up very early, and I start my day, and like, I schedule many things, but as the day winds down, I run out of things to do, or more, the dirt of the day is stuck on me.
Sure.
Because you wake up fresh and dirt, and like it's like plaque. It just builds and builds and builds.
Of course, sticky.
And eventually you need to cleanse yourself, and there's a lot of different things. People have gratitude journals, which I need to start incorporating into my life. But walking outside and looking up at that miracle has become one of my favorite things. I mean, in the morning when I do is I wake up, I come outside, and luckily I have a nice yard, a lot of trees and plants, and start with 5, read 10, 15, 20, 30, whatever. Find 5 things that are alive, functioning without your involvement at all. Like, without your involvement whatsoever.
Right.
And then look at them and appreciate them as its own living thing, and the fact that you can leave a living thing to function as its own and walk away, and it's still there. You can't. Yeah. You're not gonna do anything. You can't take that. You can't change it.
Right. Just don't mess it up.
Yeah. Just don't
let it be, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Like, that's immediately, like, I like the idea of, like, I don't have to feel responsible for this because that's going to add stress on me. Yeah. It's like, no, this is a beautiful thing that, one, I can't even begin to dive into the depths of its complex nature.
Right.
But it just happens, and I get to enjoy it.
That's smart. And that's good. It's good release. It's calming. I think that's the beauty of this is that we're so caught up in our lives of always wanting to control everything, all aspects of our lives. Yeah. And we think they're so important. And things that we do are important, but, nothing like what we're describing now. And people are like, well, you gotta have a life, you gotta live. Yes, you do, but start at a place of amazement and awe and go from there. Everything else you do will be that much better.
Well, you'll always get, people that want to, like, argue, work ethic and efficiency. I guarantee you, anybody out there, you can do the same thing happy or sad, but I guarantee you'll do it better and more efficiently if you're joyful.
Yes, 100%.
And the fastest way to get there is using your daily miracles, finding tools like, mind flush at the end of the day, or, whatever it is.
Every day, every minute, every hour, do it whenever you need it. That's the beauty of it. You can't overdo it.
It's supposed to, and that's the thing, it puts you in the place so you can, the things that are important to your synthetic life, your everyday life, paying bills or going to work or spending time with family or chasing your dreams, all the things in between, like, that stuff can be important. If you want it to be important, it's fine. Yeah. But you can't get yourself to a place to make those things possible.
Right. That's right. You have to be solid, whole first, before you could have the exterior things happening in quality. Otherwise, it all crumbles because you're building it on all this fake synthetic stuff, and then when that gets washed away, it all comes crashing down. Yeah. So it's important that you just keep that yourself whole and creative people. For me, I feel like when my mind is free, I'm able to create better, and almost it comes so like strange. Like the other night, give you an example. I'm working on this new idea for a prop, and I thought, I could use an odd thing. This is the oddest thing in the world, right? A hasp, a latch for a gate hasp. I'm like, I like the shape of that. It has a round ball on it, and I think that might work for this thing I need for a lever. This came to me one night. What? Out of the blue, right? Yeah. It's very strange, but I'm just, thinking. My mind was free. Go to the hardware store. I buy it the other day. I come home. It's the exact size, and it fits exactly for this one trick that I'm doing. I don't have to do anything to that piece. Wow. I just screw it into the 2 holes out of there and to my piece that I had already there. It's exact. If I show you, it is exactly, gives me chills, exactly the size. I'm not saying that's like, magic, but I was able to think, in my mind was free enough to think of all the things that I've seen in my life that might have that shape. Wow. And that size and that thing, it was exactly, and the width of the material is the same width of the other material that I'm adding it to.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'll show you sometime.
That's incredible.
And it's odd, but it's only when you're free and your brain has all the information it really needs. And I go, my brain, I've seen that thing somewhere. Oh yeah, it's a hasp thing. Boom. Only that works if your mind is free. Yeah. If you're cluttered,
it's creative problem solving. You can't have creative problem solving without a creative flow. Yeah. And you can't have creative flow if the source is all clogged up. Right. If you can't learn to let like a toilet, like flushing, like a mind flush.
That's
if
right.
It's not
like your dad told you to do 25 years ago.
Through, if it's not able to constantly flow
Right.
through, you can't have a creative flow.
Right.
Therefore, you can't solve problems creatively. You can't find out what you want to do.
Right.
Realistically, letting all that stuff build up, it's natural and it's okay. But letting all that stuff builds up only hurts you and prevents you from being able to be you.
Yes.
And it's
right. I mean, music for you, for instance. You can't
music.
write if you're cluttered.
I mean, a lot of people say like art, I write in my darkest places in misery, and more power to them if they can do that. I can't write. I can't even perform. I don't do well if I'm unhappy.
Wow.
Like it has to come from
joyful, more of a joyful.
Even if I'm
creative
feeling
juice.
something heavy, I'm still able to, once I hit a joyful place of I'm able to reflect on it and look at it and immerse myself in it.
And use that. Mm-hmm.
Even a negative emotion, the ability to immerse yourself in a negative emotion requires you to be open and empty for you to immerse yourself, for it to flow through you.
Right.
You can't experience any feeling or any emotion if you're constantly clogged up. It's like Buddha's example of the orbs.
Mm-hmm.
I think I told you that one. It's every moment in his life is like an orb floating by you with all of its experience and stuff, and you touch it, every single one as it come by to experience that moment.
Right.
And then you touch a stressful one, a hard one, you grab a hold of it and you're like, no, I don't want it to be like this, it needs to change, I need to try to manipulate this to make it a good one.
Let it go.
But in reality, what are you doing? Not only are you clogging the flow, so you're not going to experience all these next moments, but now you have your full two hands on this moment absorbing all this negative energy.
Right.
And you're hurting yourself. So it's like, in order to immerse yourself and feel, you have to be able to feel everything. So stop letting it all build up, flush your mind, find your daily miracle, and get yourself to a place for it to flush through, and then move on to the next set of emotions or whatever the tasks are.
Mm-hmm.
It's
the flushing part is that's why we're doing this, because look at the earth and the sun and everything, and this it's not synthetic. It's just constantly evolving, moving.
We can't stop it.
It's moving, right?
Yeah.
So why don't we keep that also flowing in our minds? We should be the same kind of fluent, physically. We'll get to the point where we're talking about our physical bodies, how to keep that moving physically, and our minds. But everything has to flow. Otherwise, if it jams up, it becomes dead, like a dead piece of wood. It's solid, and things that are dead are hard. Things that are alive are malleable and moving. And look at the ocean, so powerful. It's flowing and everything is moving. So that's why it's good to keep all these things just floating through our minds and out of our minds, keep our mind clean. And that's, as artists, I think that's why we connect. In a way, we have our own art forms, but we still, that's the main thing, is that brain, that mind being flushed and clean, the flow. You never know what you come up with,
It's true. I mean, and oftentimes, the things that come in the flow are not even things that you came up with. They're just things that have already there that you were able to discover.
Yeah.
Because you're open to it.
Yeah, that's the truth. So, okay, so now let's do another one. This is another one that's happening constantly, like everything else. It's redundant because everything is consistent and constant, right? All the things we're talking about. It's continuously. That's why we can't even grasp it, because it's constantly going. Okay, gravity.
It's my favorite
Very
subject
important.
ever.
Gravity. Otherwise, I'd be talking to you up there. Hi, come on down. I'd be up there. We'd be bumping our heads. It'll be even worse. We'd be flying into the universe. We'd be done.
Actually, time wouldn't be really a thing either.
No. Right. Nothing would be solid. Nothing would be on the ground. Gravity to me is so fascinating. When I looked at it, I was trying to research it more, and it's what is going on with gravity? Where is it coming from? It's a gravitational pull that some planets like the moon have. We have it. It's so perfect. If it was any stronger, we'd be crippled.
Yeah.
Right? It's the right amount of gravity. Did you make that happen exactly? Was it you? I'm always going to ask you, because I know you're.
I promise you it wasn't me.
All right, it wasn't you.
Believe me, I would take credit for that.
I would take credit. I tried to, but nobody believes it if I told them, right? I'm the gravity king. I'm keeping you on the ground. Yeah, sounds great. No good. Be like a snake oil salesman, I'm the guy. Drink this. But. The gravity, again, we're living in it and nobody's thinking about it.
Yeah.
Without it, we'd be in bad shape, or not in even existence, really. We wouldn't exist.
Yeah, the universe can't exist without the idea of gravity.
Right. And
I won't get into that.
Yeah. People know it, but they don't understand it 100%.
Yeah.
I don't get it. To me, it's mind-boggling. It's another one of those daily miracles. You just don't have to understand it. Just say, thank you, gravity. And you want to make all these into gods or things, go right ahead.
It's still
Hey,
there.
let it be, baby. Gravity. Thank you, gravity. It's happening right now. It's
Yeah.
the law. That's the joke when you drop something. It's gravity. It's not only a scientific fact. It's the law.
It's the law. I
It's
love
the
that.
law. So that's gravity is a big one, and that's another one to add to the list of your daily, universal daily miracles.
Honestly, studying gravity, which I've done recently, and all the things, has brought me so much peace in life.
Tell me what element of it?
The idea that everything exists with the idea of gravity. Gravity waves measure everything. The idea of controlling gravity can literally manipulate time and space, warp it. Like the example, like imagine a flat plane and then a ball opens up and stretches that plane on both ends. It's the plane is trying to flatten itself like rubber.
Sure.
And that's what gravity is. That's what the Earth is, right? We're being the universe is trying to flatten itself back into like a 2D form.
Oh my God.
Right? So when light and all like time exists because it's trying to come back together. Time slows down as you get closer to black holes because the gravitational pull is so intense.
Right.
It literally changes. It warps. Like the fabric of what we know.
Yeah.
And here we are living so perfectly with our own timeline, and everything exists within our time.
Yeah.
And we're stuck to the planet, and we live perfectly fine, and everything's perfect.
Right.
And it's this idea that literally could warp everything and change everything like that. And it just travels and constantly going on. And I think about gravity all the time, and the idea that it's as simple as we're stuck, we're held down on the Earth, as to complex as it could be the fabric of the creation of the universe,
Right.
And it's amazing, and it always brings me peace.
I love it too, and I think about it too. I ask my son. I say, how do people on the bottom of the globe not fall off? Right.
Yeah.
Think about it. There's really no up or down.
Of course not. Yeah, but still.
Right. Because no matter where you are, we're still pointing outward.
Well, gravity creates up and down, right?
Right.
So we have that liquid in our ears and the senses that tell us if we're upside down or not. But in space, you don't feel that.
No. It's only contained in our own little.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So you could be living here. You could live in the North Pole. You could be living on the South Pole, but you're still not falling off.
Yeah.
You're not upside down and getting blood's not rushing. Why isn't the blood rush to your head when you're like at the bottom of the earth?
Oh, that'd be great.
I mean, I used to do a straitjacket escape for years upside down. And, you feel like, oh man, you're lightheaded because the blood's.
Yeah.
But what if you're living down here? I mean, we're kind of like in the middle, sort of. So if you're down here, how could you do? How come?
Yeah.
That's the stuff. Think about that, everybody out there.
Yeah.
I mean, we're making light of it because you have to laugh because we can't understand it. Right? It's funny because it's so insanely amazing.
Well, because outside our little world, because it is little compared, like outside our little world like that, it's just a total free for all of what kind of gravity is going to be here. How am I going to be pulled this way?
Right.
Is there none over here? Is a wave going to come by? There's the idea that if you go into like a wave of gravity, you'll slow down time in 1 hour. It could be like 7 years.
Right. Right.
And that's just for human beings. Like, but we're protected. We're safe on this beautiful planet.
Yeah.
All this incredible stuff is happening. Gravity. It's the most peaceful thing I've ever thought about.
Wow. Yeah. Literally keeps you grounded. No pun intended. It's like it's just there. Again, just think of these things, right? In the day. Just think about one of these things that we're talking about that it just makes you go, wow. And then you have fun if you want to research it. I love going in and going, I'm going to research. Yeah. I'm breathing. How many liters of air? Oh my God, 11,000. I said 1,100 because I think my brain didn't comprehend 11,000.
It can't be 11,000, right?
Yeah, I go back home like, oh damn, it was 11,000. Wow. I missed a zero.
That's insane. That's wild.
But that's part of that. So gravity. We love gravity.
Love gravity.
Yeah, we love gravity. We need it all. Yeah, it's like saying to your parents, like, which one of your kids you love the best? You can't say which one.
Yeah.
Right? Which one of these miracles do we love the best? They're pretty all equal. They're pretty equal.
Yeah.
They're pretty damn equal.
Just choose one and enjoy that one for the moment.
They're pretty equal. I can't live without any of one or the other. I like them all equally, but I'm going to focus on this one today.
Yeah.
Let's do that. That's the way that I think to do it.
I like that.
Pick one and focus on one. There's another one too out of the many, and we'll just probably stop with this one now. We mentioned this earlier. The oceans. We still don't know. It's probably the most unexplored part of the Earth that there is because it's very difficult. And to get down in there, they're constantly finding species of sea life and in the oceans that they go, wow, what is that? What is that?
they say like we've only discovered what, like a very small percentage.
Yeah.
It's like 10 or even less.
Right.
I'm not going to say a number because I don't want to butcher it, but like there's an incredibly low number of what we've actually discovered in the ocean.
Of the oceans.
Just our Earth's ocean.
Right, right. Isn't that amazing?
Can you imagine the species that live at the depths?
They're going, yeah, stay out of here. They don't
Literally.
They don't want you to just stay away from us. Like, just don't. They're happier. Probably the happiest. That's probably the happiest place on Earth. Not Disneyland. The depths of the ocean.
Yeah.
You can't mess with it. They're protected, right?
Well, can you imagine like
Can't get down there.
they can only survive in that amount of pressure, right? If they got
Right.
lighter pressure, they wouldn't survive. So, and we can't go that deep. So,
Right.
there's literally species down there that might as well be aliens to us
Oh my God.
within our own planet.
Is that's something to think about. And there's so many things that are like, if you go in and the Griffith Park Observatory has amazing oceans movie. Again, it's just, you have no idea what's going on. Just the currents of going, the way things are moving. And I was just, driving to a meeting yesterday, and I drove the PCH. I love taking PCH.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
More than a 405, which is, folks that don't know, it's right along the coast of California. Beautiful
For
highway.
those of you that don't know the 405, it's the worst freeway on the planet.
Right. And the PCH is only 2 lanes each way. It's not as it's not faster.
No.
Maybe you save 10 minutes, but I'd rather be on that strip. I even got off. I stopped.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked, and there was dolphins going and stuff
It's
like that.
priceless.
It's really nice.
Even when there's stop and go traffic, like bumper to bumper, it's still, even in that state, you can still find peace on that coast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. But I think we understand when you look at the ocean and you're like, wow, why isn't the water flying? I mean, the gravity, when I think gravity, I think of a magnet. Oh, we need to, it's got to be metal. No. Gravity, it just does it. The oceans don't, the water stays stuck to the earth.
Yeah.
And even when it's underneath us, the water's not falling off.
And it's pulled just enough to make some
It
waves.
stays there. It just stays there. The oceans, and they supply so many things. The oceans are responsible for so many forms of different life. That the way, just even the water, the way it evaporates, it comes back into the atmosphere and comes back down around again. Again, it's a flow.
creates our climate, yeah.
It's a flow. It's the climate. The oceans. It's the oceans. It's like we are living in heaven. People go, oh, well, where's heaven? Right here.
Well, it's one of those things like, as a daily miracle, if you have the ability to go see an ocean, if you're living on the coast
Yes.
anywhere in the world,
Yes.
Go stand on the beach or the rocks, wherever you are, look at the waves and look at how, big or small the waves are, and think about how many miles and how vast that water is, and how we are standing here and it's just so perfectly brushing our land.
Yeah.
And we can walk 30 feet back and we're away from it.
Right.
This incredibly vast thing. And then, think about what you're stressed out about, what you're anxious about, what your problems are. And like, while they're not any lesser, they don't lessen them, if they're, deal with them, but stop for a second and look at this miracle.
Right. It's right. Put yourself in the miracle, the mind of a miracle, right? Put yourself in there, and then deal with something.
Yeah, like look at that. Look at the
Yeah.
most powerful, vicious thing on the planet and how beautiful and peaceful it makes you.
Right.
And that if you can find beauty and peace in the most powerful thing on the planet, you can find peace and beauty in whatever you have to deal with.
100%. Beautifully said. That's great. And yeah, just use these things are here for us. If you like it or not, they're here constantly. Just let them absorb into your body because they're here for us.
Yeah.
Just really don't ignore the gifts that we're given. And they're non-synthetic, not synthetic, real, true life gifts that are given to us. And it's like any gift. Somebody gives you a gift and you ignore it. Well, that's bad, right? I mean, it's like, that's kind of an insult to the person that gave you the gift. Well, we are given all this. Let's not ignore it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we don't really know who to thank. Right?
Just be grateful for it.
Right. We don't know who to thank for it, really. People go, oh, it's God. It's like, okay, whatever. It's Buddha. It's this. It's that. We don't know. Whoever that source, we know it's something that did it. It's a source of energy.
Thank who or whatever you
That
want.
source,
Just be grateful.
yeah, we know it's a source of energy because everything's moving. And there's energy happening, right? In our bodies and our cells.
Constantly.
Yeah, everything's moving constantly. Even in this fabric, there's stuff going on. So just be grateful for the source of energy that's doing all this. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's called. It doesn't really matter. Scientists call it something, but that's just a name. Like I'm Tony, but that's not really my name. But somebody gave me that name. It doesn't really matter. You're the being. You're the energy source. You're that actual thing that's happening on this world that's really happening. So those are a list, right? There's so many more. I mean, then we could talk about the body. We could talk about that really quick. We talked about some of the functions of the body.
Yeah.
But scientists try to replicate the human body. It's impossible. The brain cannot be replicated. iPhone 11 does not come close to the capacity of the brain. iPhone 13, iPhone 25, iPhone 56 will never be the brain.
Yeah.
So that's another thing too. You know, that's why it's so important that we flush it, because it's one of the most intricate, amazing pieces of apparatus, machinery that has been created that we are unfortunately do control to a point.
Well, think about the iPhone, you know, exiting out of your apps, you know,
Right.
clearing out your apps. If you have like 300 apps open, your phone runs slowly.
That's true.
If you don't,
Good point.
You know, you have to go and clear out your apps, and then when you need to use them, you open them up again. But
Good
it's like the
point.
same thing with your brain, except infinitely more complex.
Yes.
Imagine having an infinite amount of apps open, and this thing is trying to run, and you're trying to like function.
Right.
It's not going to do it.
Oh, I love
You have to
it.
take time every day to
Oh.
delete the apps, so the battery stays. It can last longer. It can do its job, and you can use it for the reasons you want it.
And you get better quality stuff from it.
Yeah.
And faster.
And no one's going to upgrade this other than you. You
That's
know?
true.
You can't just go buy a new
No,
one. You can't
no.
upgrade the next iOS or the next Galaxy
No.
or whatever. Like, this is your thing to upgrade.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's what it is. I mean, Sadhguru, one of the gurus I listen to on YouTube and watch his satsangs and his talks, he says, we are given this amazing apparatus technology, but we never read the user's manual. Because we don't really know what to do with it. you
Yeah.
know? I don't know
great.
100% what to do with it either, but I know one thing for sure. That's why we're here. I have too much on it. My apps are overloading my
Time to flush it down.
bandwidth. I don't need all those apps, man. I don't need those apps.
Yeah.
I don't need any apps. Just I need the communication source just to communicate with people. I need a clean line of communication. That's the key right
Clean
there.
line of communication. That's beautiful.
You know, because the communication is communicating to yourself, communicating to others. If it's clean and flowing and joyful, you know, we talked about this off of camera. Is like we feel like people around us are getting affected by our not doing anything, just being more whole and joyful ourselves. There is a ripple effect,
Yeah.
you know, and it's not why we're doing it, but I do notice a little bit of it. And to me, I'm like, oh, that's very interesting. It's a source, energy source that we're
Well, it's like
emitting.
the ocean.
Yeah.
You know, you go in the ocean, you move your finger that much, you won't see that ripple, but 400 miles down, that's a tsunami.
Right.
You know,
Right.
You do one good act for yourself, you feel good about yourself.
Right.
That ripples, that'll reach the next person, the next person, the next person.
That's the best way to influence others, is being the example, living your true self, which is scary because you don't want to be judged. You know, we have people that expect us to do certain things. But you know what? I feel like if I'm more whole, I'm going to be just better in general to anybody I come in contact with.
The idea of being judged, I think, something that I'm learning recently before we finish this whole Daily Miracle thing is it's okay if people judge you. And if it's bothering you, just remember something to bring peace is that there's almost 8 billion more people. I promise you that the few people that are judging you right now, while it may feel like your whole world,
Right.
at some point,
Right.
try to go out a little farther and search out of the 8 billion other people. There will be people that like you. You know?
That's good. That's good. That's good.
And
then
it's okay to want to spend time with people that, make you better.
definitely, I think you're a product of your environment.
Yeah.
I mean, as I get older, my circle of friends becomes smaller, and that's not sad. It's quality. I want quality, not quantity.
Absolutely.
And the key, I think, too, Haig, is that if we are good with ourselves, being alone with ourselves,
Yes.
everything else is a bonus. One friend is a bonus. 2 friends is a bonus. You don't
It's like
need
the whipped cream.
Yeah, you don't need. There shouldn't be a need, because I don't want. If I was needy, you've been around needy people. It's not. It's not pleasant.
Yeah, no.
It should be a mutual back and forth of energies.
A relationship.
Yeah, relationship of energies that go back and forth. So that all comes from being cleanse the mind, flush the mind, use these tools. I'll list more even in the comments section underneath of just as many as I can list. And get these and really just use them as a daily, Meditation, we'll talk about that down the road too, different ways you do meditation. And all these things work or don't work. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
If it clicks with you, do
Find
it.
the one thing that works.
Just do something.
Yeah.
That's why I want to give no excuses. There's so many choices that I can't go to a restaurant that has 300 things on their menu and I can't find something to eat. I'm the idiot,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
I don't want to leave any room for, well, it doesn't work for me. Well, find something. It's going to work. It's
Yeah.
going to be something simple or whatever it is. Let it happen. We deserve it, man.
Yeah.
We deserve it.
I couldn't agree more.
We deserve it, and it's just what life is about, man. Enjoying the ride, man. Enjoy the ride as we're floating around the big sun, thousands of miles an hour. How come we don't feel it?
God, can you imagine?
Gravity. Gravity helps us
Yeah,
not
we're
feel
fine.
it. Yeah, we're fine.
Gravity's the reason any of it's happening.
Otherwise, we need seatbelts on this couch. We wouldn't be like, all
We
right.
need seatbelts to the earth.
Right. Oh my God. Folks, that's what I mean. Just have fun with it, man. Just have fun with the ride, really. Just that's all you got to do. Enjoy the ride. Keep the lightness of life in you.
Yeah.
And just, that's all I can say. Enjoy the ride. And what I love is music. And we have a gentleman here that's a superb artist, musician.
Artist, musician.
Yes. And play something that you like. Here we go. Beautiful. Thank you, Haig.
Thank you.
Love you, buddy. Enjoy the ride, everybody. Enjoy the ride.